Hey everyone, it's Ashley. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited to be showing off the brand new Stamp of Approval collection by Catherine Pooler Designs. And this stamp of approval is called Tropically Yours. So it is perfect for summer. There's these beautiful flowers, these fun flamingos, the leaves, border stamps, and there's even a background stamp. And there are coordinating dies available, and in the kit also are these cabana tile dies, which I think are just so perfect and versatile. I absolutely love them. What I'm going to be doing today is creating these two different cards, and one is a scene card and one is going to be a fairly busy patterned card in the center of my card front. However, I am going to be using a very thick border around my scene and my pattern just to keep it a little more simple. If you know my style, you'll know that I tend to create pretty clean and simple cards, and I think that this is a great way to be able to keep it very simple and clean while still being able to do those fun, busy patterns and scene cards that we love so much. So to create that border, I am simply just putting some blue painter's tape all around the border of my card front. To do the stamping today, I'm going to be using several acrylic blocks, but you could use your MISTI for this or any stamp positioner tool. I just happen to like it better when I can see the pattern coming together and stamp it individually, but some people prefer just the one and done with the MISTI, which I can absolutely understand. I'm going to be using grass skirt for these palm leaves, and I'm just going to stamp all around, and I'm going to make sure that some of the leaves end up off of the cardstock or onto the painter's tape, I should say, and that way it will look as if it is a cohesive patterned paper, and sort of not that I stamped everything in the middle, but that it's a piece of a bigger pattern, which tends to make it look a little more organic, and I like that look a little bit more. So I like to stamp them coming into the card front or to where I've got it masked off and weaving out, and that way it just looks like a nice patterned paper, like I said. And this is just going to be again on the center of the card, because now I am going to pull off the tape and you get those really crisp, clean lines and this really beautiful pattern here just in the center of the card. And you can do really anything with this. You could put a sentiment in the center, which is what I'm going to end up doing, and you'll see that a little bit later, or you could add some die cuts. This is just the base of our card, and I actually love the way that it turned out, and there's so many possibilities. For my second card, which is a full scene card, I've done the same thing where I mask off the border of the card. And I'm now going to take some Post-it notes, and these are full sticky Post-it notes, and I'm just going to mask everything off but the bottom portion there, and it's about, I don't know, half an inch or so. And I'm going to use Aquatini and Something Borrowed to create the water for this card. So this card is going to be a full scene card, but the scene is going to be just in the center with that thick border, just as we did for the last card. And that's going to bring a lot of simplicity in, because sometimes scene cards can tend to be very busy, but with the thick border, it just gives it a little bit more of a simple look, I think, anyway. So I'm using my ink blending tool. I'm using, again, Aquatini and Something Borrowed, and I like that I have a two-tone ocean. I like when I do that for water. It just gives it a little bit more, again, of an organic look. So I'm just blending in, and I barely put any pressure on when I'm blending. I just start off where the tape is and then bring it into the center of the card front. After I'm satisfied with my ink blending, I'm going to remove those Post-it notes, and I'll use new Post-it notes to mask over the water. So if I use the old Post-it notes and I start to ink blend into the sky, I may get some of that blue ink into the sky, which I don't want. I'm going to be using specific colors to represent a sunset sky. So I want to make sure that I use brand new Post-it notes for this. And when I mask it off, I just leave the tiniest slither of it showing, because I don't want there to be a white line. I want it just to all blend in nicely together. So for my sky, I'm using Limoncello, Bellini, the brand new Coral Cabana color, which I absolutely love, and Flirty Fuchsia. And this will give the appearance of a sunset sky with my water at the bottom, and you'll see that when I pulled the Post-it notes off. For blending, I usually go back in with the lightest color over the darker color that I've blended into it. So it's a little bit more work, but it looks a little bit more cohesive at the end, and it gives it a nice blend. I also go in with very little pressure when I'm ink blending, and this again gives it a nice smooth look. So now I am removing the tape all around the edge, and now we have the base for our scene, but we've got to go in and create a little bit of magic for that scene. So I'm going to use my Misty just because it's easy to stamp both of these flamingos, and I'm going to stamp them in Memento ink because I will be Copic coloring. And Memento ink is a Copic safe ink, which just means that the alcohol from the Copic markers won't make the ink, the Memento ink, bleed. So I'm taking some of my pink colors for these flamingos. I'm taking RV02, RV10, and R32, and I'm just doing a base with my lightest color, and then I will go in with my mid color or mid-tone and just do some little strokes to make it look sort of feathery. And I'll go in with my darkest color and just do some shading, but again make some of those quick stroke marks as well, and this can just give the appearance of some texture for the feathers as well. So here are both of my flamingos, and I'm going to be using the coordinating dies to cut these out. The dies make it really easy to line up because you can see the body and the part of the head sort of where the beak is, as well as the legs. So you can line up the entire flamingo just to make sure that you're not a little over too much to the left or the right. It makes it perfect. I also tape them down with a piece of painter's tape, and that's just to make sure that when it's run through my die cutting machine, the dies themselves don't shift. To add a little bit of texture and movement to the ocean, I'm going to be using these really cool stamps that make it appear as if there's little waves at the feet of the flamingos. So I'm just going to stamp that in Versamark ink and emboss it with white embossing powder just to make it look a little bit more like movement. And I'll do that again for the other sort of wave stamp as well. I'm also going to go in with a white gel pen and add little movement marks myself. Finally, I will go in and adhere the flamingos with Tombow Mono Multi-Glue, and that will be the completed scene for my flamingo card. For finishing touches, I went in with the flamingo card and used a gold watercolor paint to just line the very edge of that scene. And I think that just gives it a little bit more interest without adding too much to the card. I also added the Sending Good Vibes sentiment to that card as well. And for the patterned leaf card, I added the sentiment, "Your vibe attracts your tribe," which I absolutely love. And I decided to emboss that in a very vibrant fluorescent pink color, and that is from Wow Embossing Powders. I really love the green with the pink. I think it looks even more tropical, and I just absolutely love these cards in this entire collection. I really hope that you have enjoyed this video. Please check out the link in the description for the blog hop. Also, my blog, Instagram, Pinterest, and all of the supplies used are linked in the description, along with the link for the sign up for the stamp of approval. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.